I'm Takuro Shibata from North Carolina.
Hitomi Shibata. So we are going to start our presentation. We want to talk about what we did in Japan and what we do in North Carolina. So this is young Shibata
Yes.
in Shigaraki.
This screen is huge.
Yeah. Life size.
So we met each other in Shigaraki, which is one of the oldest pottery villages in Japan. It's a well-known place for beautiful clay and also Anagama pioneering tradition. And the Shigaraki potters found a good clay in that area, and their first production was making a lot of roof tiles for palace and also houses in Kyoto, which used to be the capital of Japan. So after graduating school, I went to Shigaraki for my residency program, and Takuro also came to Shigaraki for his apprenticeship. We met each other and got married. We had a dream to be an independent potters. We worked hard and get the experience from local potters, and also we were able to try beautiful Shigaraki wild place when we were there.
Oh, sorry, it's 1 second. She's gonna catch up. Things being a little.
Shigaraki is a really unique place because it's a small town, but everywhere you see those kind of old kilns or equipment or whatever old potters built by themselves. This is one of the biggest Noborigama, but as you see, this is no longer used. The roof was totally worn out, and you see lots of grasses and weeds, and that was our everyday commuting road. Still beautiful, and it tells how old time potters work in the fire these big kilns. And this is a better shape big climbing kiln. I think this was used until maybe 30, 40 years ago, but of course firewood is not reasonable in Japan, and firing this size of Noborigama costs a lot. So now potters switch to oil kiln, gas kiln, electric kiln to be a bit more efficient. But as you see, this is beautiful, and that was our daily life in Shigaraki. Shigaraki is also well known for these ceramic raccoon dogs. We call it tanuki, and this is really charming clay products that tourists and sightseers buy. It's like a face jar in North Carolina, and there are many tanuki makers in Shigaraki. And the Japanese pottery is all about food. Potters make a beautiful pottery, and as you see, there are many different shapes, styles, and all pots are made for very specific food or seasonal food. And on top of the slide, he's a well-known chef in Shigaraki. He owns a fancy restaurant, and when we went there, he showed us how he used local made pottery, and then he made a nice display from what he cooked. So it's a really good food culture, and potters also can learn from local chef and also food, and that's why Japanese tableware culture, living culture is so rich.
And also, sometimes shigaraki clay doesn't liquefy well, so porous. So if you use those porous fire pottery or like a soup, that doesn't work. And also, if it has a sauce, it stain the dishes. So they sometimes boil the dishes before they use and prevent getting red sauce going into the porous liquids. And so this is one of the shigaraki clay at feldspar mine. Shigaraki is well known for clay, but also they have a lot of feldspar, and we have Mitch and Zoe here, and they are great for widespread research in this area. But when you look at the book, then you see what's the clay made of. I mean, how the clay formed. That's an interesting thing to think about as a ceramic artist. And rock break down, then become a clay. And the feldspar break down and then create a beautiful clay. So that's the case in shigaraki. And shigaraki we had used to be under the lake, but the lake, Biwa Lake, one of the biggest lake in Japan, those lakes were in Shigaraki area, but it's moved towards to the north, and then we can see the lots of clay in that area. And this is the photo I took at the Shigaraki Traditional Craft Center, and Shigaraki they have been making pottery for many years, and they use local clay, and they don't know how the clay works, right? So when you see the photo carefully, you see the problems, like this one, rotting, and then cracking. So they find out the clay, and then find out how they can fire to make this clay work. It took many years to figure it out. Then now they create beautiful work because of their kind of research throughout their history. And this is one of my people when I made in 2004, and then fire in Kanagama at Shigaraki Ceramic Cultural Park. So Shigaraki clay is highly temperature white clay, and then there are many feldspar mine in there. So it's those feldspar rocks is mixing up in the clay, and then when you fire in the kiln, those white stone showing up on the surface, and then that gives a beautiful texture to it. But sometimes it's best Shigaraki clay we think it's not easy to work with. It's rough and then not quite plastic. But when you make it work and then fire it, it creates beautiful work. So sometimes we need a patient to work with the clay, and then don't complain for the clay. And this is the image of Shigaraki Ceramic Cultural Park. It's one of the biggest ceramic art center in Japan. And they have an international artist residency program. And Hitomi was a resident in
1996 to 97
yeah, I worked there for 2004 to 2005.
as a student.
As a studio. And the center is made for international artist and resident program, and they have many artists from all over the world. And their facility is fantastic for making large scale work. It's all concrete floor connecting from the studio to the kiln room. And they have a forklift and they have equipment to move the heavy, bigger work to the kiln. So if you have a chance to go there, you make big work.
This picture is when we were in Shigaraki, we learned a lot from local potters and through our jobs. But also we knew we needed some different experiences. And our experiences at Shigaraki Ceramic Cultural Park taught us there are many pottery communities or good potters outside of Japan. And I looked for any opportunities I could have. And I was able to get the Rotary Foundation scholarship, and also University of Massachusetts Dartmouth accepted me as a special student under the scholarship program. So me and Takuro came to Massachusetts in 2001, and I became a student. Takuro, in the meantime, he was able to get a residency program and was the craft center in Massachusetts. And later on, he became a residency at Petersburg, New Jersey. So we both made lots of friends and joined sort of wood firings. And also we learned how American ceramic materials work. It's very different from what we had in Shigaraki. And that experience made us think about how we can adjust and how we can make these materials work. And after I finished my program at UMass, we both came to Coventry Foundation for Ceramic Art in Appomattox, Virginia. It was 2003, and it was the first year that Coventry started residency program. So the studio was new, and there was a lot of good red clay next to the new studio building. And we started digging and processing concrete red clay, and we made lots of pots from the clay from the ground. And also concrete is it's not a really fancy studio. They had a big space, white clay, and also big wood kilns. And we residency artists had to work together, cut firewood, split firewood, and fire kiln for a week together. And luckily today, Mitch and Zoe are here. They are also Catholic family. And if you are interested in, please ask us about the program. Yes. Then while we are in Southern Virginia, we visited our friends in Seagrove, North Carolina, which is 3 hours car drive from Calgary. And these are our friends, and David Stenberg and his partner Nancy Adobe. They both came to Shigaraki when we lived there. David is a really well-known artist and potter in Seagrove. He had a residency program. That's why we were able to meet them and become a friend.
And when we were, and so then after we visited Seagrove, we had to go back to Japan. Shigaraki. And I started working for the Ceramic Cultural Park, and then we settled back down to Shigaraki. But we got a phone call, email from Nancy, who is director of Star Works, and she said she got a big project. Would you like to come back to US? And we said yes. And then we sold everything we had in Japan. And then we took one cat in suitcases, and then came to US. So that was 2005. And so Sea Grove is very center of North Carolina. Actually, Star is the dead center of North Carolina. And then Sea Grove is 10 miles north from Star. And we moved to Sea Grove. This is current Star Wax building. It's one of the biggest stock factory in the U.S. And they moved out to Mexico. And this Star Wax nonprofit organization got this huge building from local business person donated. And we got 5 acres worth of floor space building on hand. And then we have to do something. And then they think it would be good to have a clay supply and also researching clay to local Sea Grove artists. So that's why I come to Star Wax. So when I get there, just giant big space and lots of junk on the floor. So I have to sweep the floor. And then Nancy gave me a laptop computer. Then she said, figure it out. I have to clean up and then get the laptop computer, then also shovel. And then I talked to local soil scientists and then digging out different clays in the area. So this is one of the clays. And then after I took back those buckets of clay and then make textiles and then fire it and then see what we can do. And when we go like somebody's property and then getting clay out from their beautiful property, and then can I bring a backhoe and dump truck and then can I dig a hole back on the property? And then they don't like that. So I have to find something more sustainable because if we have one dump truck load of clay and then if it's run out, then people cannot use clay again. So I looking for maybe more better way to get the clay. Then I met this person. This is Stephen Brankenbaker. He is a ceramic engineer working for a brick company in North Carolina. But he used to work at Cedar Heights, mining gold and red art. So he knows about pottery clay. But he looking for clay for brick company. And sometimes he found a good clay for bricks, but then part of the mine is really plastic good clay he could find. So he separate those clay out and then sending to Star Wax. So without his help, we cannot run Star Wax. So we always thank you to Steve. But that's a beautiful image. And there are many beautiful clays. I mean, I think clays everywhere. And when we were in Massachusetts, we didn't have chance to touch local clay there. And when Hitomi was working in the UMass, people making clay with the black powder clay, and then mixing different powder clay, adding water to it. That's the pottery clay. And then that was surprising for us because when we were in Shigaraki, they get the clay from the ground and then process and then make pottery. So we were questioning where the clay is in the US and why people don't use local clay. But that question always we think about, but when we came to North Carolina, many people using local clay, and then we were very excited. And then when we go out finding clays, and we see beautiful clay like this. And then we found many different clays that we cut out the clay. And then we set up a clay factory in Star Wars. So because when you get the clay, anyone could get the clay and then put it in a bucket. Then you have to test it. And then if it works, then you have to get more. And then you have to process it. And then that's sometimes too much work for many people. And then if they think so, they buy clay from other clay company supplier, but then they don't use local clay. So they disconnected from local materials because of the time, space, or funding to process local material. So non-profit organization Star Wars want to help that part. So we set up clay factory there and then process local clay to make a pottery clay. So when we have time, I usually put the movie, but Sean said we have to finish talk in 20 minutes, and it's already 20 minutes, so we have
Some wish,
I know.
It's Star Wars, and I can show you how to process it. But yeah, just dump clay in there and mix with water. Clay strip coming to the filter press, and the filter press make clay cakes, and clay cakes going back into the mixer over there and mix up. Hot milk. Clay.
Simple.
Simple, yes. And Starbucks have a clay studio, and they have a artist residency program. And there are many artists in residency program, but Starbucks residency is special because if you come there, you can access to all the raw clay that we have there. You can use anything you like, and then you can experiment. You can test it, and anything you like to do. So that's fun.
And quickly, we want to show what we do as potters and also artists at home. Yeah, this is our home and the kiln, and we live in a historic area in Seagrove. This is going to be a short video, so could you play?
Oh, sure. There it goes.
Yes. So our big kiln, smaller kiln, and then this is our studio. And then we have a gallery plus a guest room. And then we have a really simple anagama, which we built in 2009. And then this is an extra chamber, which we can use a little bit salt. And we just hired this chamber last weekend, 6 days ago. This is a smaller size booby box kiln. As you see, we have lots of firewood. And this is a gallery. We don't open regularly, but when Seagrove Potters Association have a local event, we open our store, invite people. And then we'll show how we process, how we make our pottery in a studio. I made some functional and some sculpture. And I use North Carolina local clay. And this is a sleep coated and the yellow clay come from our property.
And I make functional pottery, but sometimes I like to make larger piece like this. Use iron oxide to decorate with the funky brush. Then we load our parts into the wood kiln. Then by about 24 to 36 hours. We use about two coats of wood. there are many sawmills in North Carolina, our area, so we can get cut off, and we use those to fire our hero. And recently, we are clean up our yard, so we sometimes use our own fire too. And then wait 3 days or so and unload the hero. Yeah, we didn't bring any bigger structure, but that's one of the examples. And then we have quickly, this is my Instagram, and you can check what we make. And we come back in October to Carleton College, do a 2 weeks workshop, working with teacher Kelly. And they said we will have a public talk on, I think, October 17th. So if you are in India, please come by. But and then I make many plates, and then using local clay, red clay, white clay strip, and then Shino iron, the red iron oxide decoration. Then Hitomi, and then in Japan, we try not to touch clay too much, because when we touch too much, we kind of lose the good texture of the clay. That's what my teacher told me. But now I try touch as much as I like. Than touching too much. So I like to have edges on my cup. So I alter the shape and put the coil and then carve it. That's too much touching. But I like it. This is the cup, triangular cup. And then I like to make this triangle jar. And in Japan, jar is very important functional pottery. I was making round jar, but then when I was making jar, I always pay attention to the outline of the jar. That's important part to make a shape. But then, like, it's always same line, and it's getting wondering if I can put more lines, how it looks. Then I start putting 3 lines on one jar. So that's the start of the my jar. And then also I like to have a volume of the body. But then if I want to emphasize that, I want to make one concave, so that create kind of a contrast, negative and positive space. So that's has been my farm project. And then like this, and then sometimes I like to put the feet. It's funny. I enjoy making this, but he told me he doesn't like it, because when I make this, and then when I put this in the wood kiln, it's scary, because sometimes when we fire a long pot, it starts moving. But I like it.
And one time I opened the peephole and I saw one of the legs starting walking.
Yeah.
So scary.
And then sometimes I make 2 together as a set. Then sometimes now I'm working on more open ball, like a ball shape, like a fire, like a ball. But that's my work. And next, the meats.
Yeah, I also go quickly. This is my Instagram, and
sorry.
please follow if you can. Yes. And then when I was a college student in Japan, my teacher was very traditional potter, and I went through very traditional way to learn pottery making. students learn how to make a set of plates, same size of Unomi, and make a 2 feet size big plates, big bowls. So I wasn't a good student. My wheel throwing was terrible, but that's why I spent more time and try to be good. So that's, yeah, I think that was a great education for me to be a good potter. Still, I make big balls. It's challenging to make a 2 feet size big ball is physically lot of clay and flip over and flip the food and dry carefully and load the kiln very carefully. So but yeah, I still learn and make mistake and then learn from mistake. Yes. So all clays which I use now is from North Carolina. Beautiful red clay, yellow clay, and we have some local kilning. So we make our white slip from North Carolina kilning. And I also like to use ash glaze, which is a very much Eastern Asia tradition. So in China and in Korea and in Taiwan, they started making pots centuries ago. And the wood ash was very important material to make beautiful glazes. So my wood ash glaze is very simple. 30% of wood ash from kiln, the firebox. And then 70% North Carolina feldspar, which is from Spruce Pine, North Carolina. And we add a little bit kaolin and a little bit silica to make stable. And that's it. Yes. And also I like to make a third jar like this. This was fired in our Alabama and unglazed and filled. And as you see, there's a big crack in the belly. And this jar was right in front of the firebox, but I like all colors and textures and even big crack. I make teapot because I drink tea, and the tea culture is a very important for Japanese pottery. Potters make all kinds of teawares. And you know me, when Japanese young potters start training, making the Unomi is the first thing they have to. What I had my training is make 100 Unomis every day. It takes longer. Sometimes I couldn't make it, but same size, same way. If we do every day, and then we can get a good skill. It sounds like a very slow training, but actually that is the best training if you want to be a good thrower. These are my wild clay plates. I'm very fortunate that my husband had a really interesting project at Star Wars, and I have access to use these beautiful wild clays. And I also help testing some of the unknown clay. We do pinch pot, we throw. Sometimes some clay doesn't work for the throwing. Then we think about maybe good for slab or this way, that way. So we can find something which will be useful to make a better clay. So this is my slab plate. We had a hands-on workshop on Thursday at another plate center, and we made lots of slab plates. And it was a fun to work with people. In the structure, it's very different from function pots, but and also people ask me what is the difference function pot and making a structure, and my answer is it's the same play, same artist, and the same firing. Looks different, but to me, it's almost the same. So I enjoy working for it and also work for the kiln preparation, cutting firewood and splitting firewood and clean the kiln. So I enjoy my that's life. For the Northern Clay Center for carrying our wild clay book, this book is about our clay journeys from Shigaraki to Seagrove, and we also have very good artist background stories. Michi and Zoe, they contributed beautiful picture and artwork for this book. And if you are interested, please take a look and yeah, so.
And wild clay, that's catchy name. But all the clay is wild clay. But we just saying this because now people like to pay and then buy clay. That's convenient. And then like digging clay, process clay too much. So not many people didn't pay attention to clay around you. But maybe it might be a good chance to get back to all the way, checking clay around you, maybe see if that materials can be another choice of materials for your work. So that's the idea. So hope you can try to meet, and so I know very much
Yeah,
all this area, so talk to them. Yeah, I don't know anything about this.
So this is our information. Please check it out time. And we'll be back to Minnesota in October. So we hope we can see you again.